Hello everybody. Today we will be looking at formatting in Excel and doing stuff to make our data look more interesting. So if we want to start messing around with things, we can go to the Home tab and start playing around with the different fonts. So, as you can see, the company is Luxury Goods Incorporated, but what if we wanted that font to stand out a little bit and really like the Calibri font that we have up there? Let's go and play around with some of the different ones. So these are all the different fonts that we have, and there's hundreds and hundreds, as you can tell. And we can pick any of them. So let's just pick something that's going to stand out, that's very bold. And then we could also pick the fonts of these sections right here. And let's go in and pick Times New Roman. And then let's also do a fill. Say we want to do a light blue. We could go in and we could fill those guys as well too. Now, what if we wanted our letters and the items that we have up there stick out a little bit more? Say if we had like a really dark font like this and it was kind of hard to see, well, we could go over to the font colors for our different styles over here, and we could, instead of going black, we could choose white, and you'll notice that they stand out a lot better. And then we could even go in there and bump up the font size a little bit and maybe even bold it, so not looking too bad. As well, we could also change the color for these items if we'd like to as well. So say instead of having them black, we want to make it orange, we could do that as well too, and then we could put maybe a black fill behind it. It really stands out, but yeah, we can kind of play around with it and really do whatever we want. We can also format multiple cells at once too. So let's say we really wanted to have all of these change to black, and like we were already doing, we want to have a certain font on it. It's easy. All you have to do to format multiple cells, so instead of just formatting one cell, we just drag, and then we can just go over and click what we want and just kind of format it that way. Very easy. We can also format all of the cells if we want to. So if we drag all the columns at the top here and we were to click fill, it would basically fill everything down until basically infinity all the way at the bottom. And if we don't want that, we can always use the undo button. Brings back to reality there. Also, we can draw borders, which might make it look a little bit better. So if we highlight all of our cells and we go over here, you'll see there's a bunch of different borders we can do. So we can do a nice outside border, so you see there's a nice little thick line around that, kind of highlighting and keeping in our data. We can also go up there and do borders on the inside, so that would be all borders. So if you click on all borders, you'll notice now between the different columns and the rows that we have lines put in place to split apart our data. Now, what if we want to highlight multiple sections at a time, or format multiple things if we have something highlighted? Well, we could basically highlight what we have, right click on that, and then go down to format cells, and you'll see this handy box opens up, and this box is the formatting dialog box. And basically from here we can do all of our advanced formatting for what we need to work on. Basically everything that's not up in the ribbon is all in here. So for example, like we were just working on right here, instead of putting all the borders like we did, what if we had only wanted a horizontal border separating our different rows and not a vertical border separating the columns as well? Well, this is where we would come in here, select just that, hit OK, and if we had highlighted all of them, we could go in here, we could take out the vertical border, hit OK, and then you'll notice that disappears from our columns. We also have a lot of different functions in there, so if we go back for a second to format cells, you'll notice that we have numbers. So say we want that in a certain currency, we could throw up the $sign, hit OK, and then you'll see it formats all of our numbers with $signs. But our sizes really they're not numbers, so we could go up to our dialog box here, or we can control it as well. You just hit general, and it'll change it back to those numbers as well. We can also change the amount of decimal places with this little handy function. So if we want less, we would just click on this little button, bring us to whole numbers, or you know, if we want more, want to bump it out. Say we're working with numbers and we need multiple decimal places because it can really affect the end outcome. We'd spread it out that way. But what if we're working in a very large organization that's multinational in all different parts of the world? Well, what we can do then is, you know, for example, for our, you know, dollar signs for the price portion of this table, we would go up here and we see it's already up there, put into currency. Okay. Now let's go and click this little arrow, and you'll see when it drops down all the different basically dollar signs for the different countries. So what if we have part of our organization working in China, or you know, the United Kingdom? So let's click on the pound, and you'll notice that it automatically changes up what we had is what they call in Excel's United States dollar to the pound. Vice versa, we could also do you know, what they call Chinese or the yen if we're going over to China. So it's a very handy little function. And then we can also split these in, you know, say they weren't supposed to be dollars, they were supposed to be in percentages. We could scroll down here and click percentages, but obviously because we input it in a dollar value, it's going to give us insane numbers, which makes no sense. But yeah, if you had something you need to throw in a percentage, that's a great way of doing it as well too. Some of the other things to go through also in the dialog box. So we have our numbers, we can do dates, we can do times, which is very important as well too. The alignment of our text, so say we want it on the right, you know, pull our numbers over, and it formats it as a time too, depending on, you know, what you mess around with in there. So just be careful, make sure that you're not changing anything around. Also, we can change the fonts, borders, like we talked about. Something you know, important that I want to talk about with these borders is that you can make the lines thicker between them if you'd like. So right now we just have it on a very basic small kind of border. If we want to beef it up, we could click that one, and you'll notice that the border does become thicker. Didn't update there. There you go. You notice that it stands out a lot better. And depending on, you know, how you like your spreadsheets or how you like the data to be laid out, it's good to understand that you have these different options in the different formatting cells and styles that you have up there. So go through that at your own time, just kind of check out a few. But it's definitely worth noting that formatting can really make or break an Excel spreadsheet if you're sending it to a client or your boss, and it's very important to make sure that the information that you have, you know, after you spend the proper amount of time in making sure that the color scheme is right, looks presentable and looks professional. Thanks.